High Representative and Vice President Callas, General Brieger, dear Robert, Lieutenant General Michael van der Laan, can I now say fellow Chods, or do I need to say Chods of the European Union? Senior defence officials from Austria and Ireland, the Secretary General of the EAS, the Chair of the PSC, ambassadors, military representatives from the Member States, colleagues, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, and once again thank you for your attendance at what is a milestone ceremony for the European Union Military Committee, the first of its kind. I would like to begin my very short address by paying compliments to General Brieger for his leadership of the Military Committee and for his always well-framed guidance to that committee during what has unfortunately been an extremely eventful number of years. The illegal, unjustified and ongoing Russian invasion of Ukraine has brought unwelcome return of conventional warfare to the continent of Europe. Russian influence has also sought to unsettle the EU's presence in the strategically important Sahel of North Africa. Since May 2022, producing a unified EU military response to these events as part of the Union's foreign and security policy has been important, and much of this task has rested on the shoulders of General Brieger, and I want to sincerely thank him today for his untiring efforts in this regard. In addition, I wish to acknowledge the role that General Brieger has played in developing the maturity, the rapid deployment capability and concept of our future crisis response force has reached. For 25 years, the Military Committee, acting within the European Council and composed of the Member States' Chiefs of Defence, represented by the College of Military Representatives, has given military advice and made recommendations to the Political and Security Committee. It has also provided military direction to the European Union military staff and, of course, provides any military advice requested by the High Representative of Foreign Affairs and Security Policy. The never-ending battle rhythm associated with all of these staff procedures is, of course, not an academic exercise. Because as we gather as a senior leadership group here in Brussels, we must be conscious of the responsibility we share for the deployment and support of currently some 3,500 military personnel who are serving on the EU's common security and defence policy missions and operations throughout Africa, in Bosnia, on the Mediterranean and Red Seas, off the Horn of Africa, in the Indian Ocean, and perhaps most importantly, in the support of our European neighbours, Ukraine. The sacrifices being made in human suffering by the armed forces and civilian population of Ukraine has presented the rest of us within Europe with what may be limited space and time to react, for us to come together and to be prepared to deter any similar attacks on the Union, our populations and our democratic way of life. Planning for, training and spending on defence can only take place in the absence of war. Our common history has taught us that it is too late to address defence deficiencies when you need to use them to protect yourself. In the current security environment, the EU will require hard power as much as it has in the past utilised its soft power. From today, as Chair of the Military Committee, I will strive to support you, Vice President Callas, the Political Security Committee, the Council, and our deployed military service personnel by ensuring that our work is conducted at the speed of relevance. That work will be guided by the contents of the White Paper of the European Defence, which clearly outlines the acute and growing threats we are all facing. As a military committee, we will work to deter those who would do us harm and threaten our democratic values. Fortunately, the EU is not alone, as since its establishment, NATO has also strived to protect European security. The White Paper recognises that the EU must work with NATO to restore credible deterrence and deliver the security on which our prosperity depends. As Chair, I will prioritise the most strategic and key relationship that we enjoy with NATO. To credibly deter foreign armed aggression and address the fallout of instability and conflict, I will also actively engage with the Military Committee to help coordinate our capability development processes so that we can become more effective in reflecting the collective strengths of our armed forces, while simultaneously addressing weaknesses that can come from uncoordinated actions. I am truly honoured and humbled to be appointed as Chair of the EU Military Committee at this time. And from today, let me restate that I will serve the Committee with all my ability. I will nurture the spirit of support and collegiality with the Political and Security Committee and provide every support to you, Vice President and Head IREP, as we come to terms with the reality of the threats we are facing as a union. And let me conclude by quoting, and if I can, and you can indulge me, the late Irish poet and Nobel laureate Seamus Heaney, whose words always inspire me when faced with what can appear to be overwhelming challenges. Hope is not optimism which expects things to turn out well, but something rooted in the conviction that there is something good worth working for. So let us all turn our minds to good work. Thank you, and I look forward to meeting you all in the coming weeks.